Everybody out there in the YouTube universe, this is Mr. Movie, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you why From Dusk Till Dawn is in my collection. Oh man, Dusk Till Dawn is one of my favorite movies of all time, hands down. Such a great movie. I tried to steer away from doing Tarantino because I'm always talking about Tarantino. He's my favorite director. I put his movies in order, went from my usual top 5, got out of that, and did a top 9 because that's how many movies he has. And this movie's not directed by him, but it was written by him, so I think that this is okay. It came out in 1996, directed by Robert Rodriguez. You know him probably from Desperado, Sin City, Planet Terror. And like I said, written by Quentin Tarantino. They collaborate a lot. They did the Grindhouse films together. Tarantino was involved with, Desperado and this movie and a couple of others. It came out to mixed reviews, but it did do really well in the box office. It more than tripled its budget. I think it almost quadrupled it, if I remember correctly. And, it's become a cult classic. Like I said, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, I'd have to say. And the reason why, aside from the Tarantino aspect of it and all the, the great actors, it stars George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino is one of the actors, Harvey Keitel, Juliette Lewis. There's so many great actors in it. The main thing about this movie and what makes it so unique is that it's the only movie I ever seen like this, I think, to this day, that does this in such a drastic way, where it has a genre shift in the middle of the movie. It goes from being like a gangster kind of like crime movie almost to flipping zoop right into a vampire movie. I've never seen anything like it, because I've seen genre changes in movies that are kind of subtle maybe, or a combination of genre in movies, but this is just like 1, 2, completely switches, but keeps the same characters and how they are, no matter whether it was the gangster part of it or the now horror movie vampire part of it. Really cool, very unique, and all that combined is why I love this movie. Now, as I said, what happens is you have the Gecko brothers, played by George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino. They're bank robbers. Clooney's character was in jail, and his little brother Richie breaks him out. And they start off where, you don't get that right away. You hear that like in the news of what's happening and in little tiny flashback things. But they stop at like a gas station, and it's like with a convenience store, and there's this drawn out tension of them, because it just starts out with a conversation between a Texas Ranger and the guy who owns the store. They obviously know each other, and they're talking back and forth, and the guy says he's got to go to the bathroom, and oh yeah, go ahead. And then you see them come out with hostages and stuff, and like, why are you letting him go to the bathroom? Nobody lets him do that. And he goes, he comes in here every day and we talk, and if I didn't let him use the bathroom, he thinks something was up. And they end up, because the Tarantino character, Richie, is a complete and utter lunatic. And his brother's always trying to keep him in line. And he just ends up shooting the cop in the head, and then they shoot it out with the store clerk guy, because he's a maniac. He's a murderer, he's a rapist, he's a lunatic, he's a nut job the whole time. But it's his little brother, and he broke him out of jail. So he feels like he has to take care of him as his brother and family, but also he basically saved his life. So you see them, they go on the road, and they have a lady in their trunk. They go to a hotel room, and Tarantino's supposed to watch the lady while Clooney goes to check it out, because what their whole idea is, they got to get to Mexico. They can cross the border. They're meeting up with these Mexican gangsters where they're going to pay them some money, and they're going to retire there, and they're going to protect them and keep them away from the cops and, all that stuff. So that's their main plan. Clooney goes out to check the border. He gets some food. He comes back. Tarantino character killed the hostage in a brutal way that I won't get into. But they argue, and he's like, what's the matter with you, you know? And so it's, again, he doesn't agree with how his brother acts, but it's his brother. And then they end up taking a family hostage because they have a big trailer, you know, that like a mobile home that they're going cross country vacationing on. The father is a preacher, and it's his daughter and his son, but the son is adopted. The daughter isn't. The mother had passed away in a car accident, and they're going on the road. Now, he was a preacher, but he's not a preacher anymore because after his wife passed away, he gave up on the whole concept of God because he's mad at God because God took his wife. So they take them hostage, and the idea is, okay, if we're in this mobile home with this family, they're going to let us across the border because we don't look shady. There's a really tense part when they get to the border because they come on to check it, and they're hiding, and his brother's going crazy again, like, fuck these cops, you know, he's ready to go to war with them, but it's stupid. His brother knocks him out and then tells him when he wakes up that he fainted, but they get through the border. So when they get through the border, they say, okay, here's the deal. If you guys are cool, we're going to let you go as soon as we meet up with who we got to meet up with. But until then, we still need you because we're still not out of the water yet. So they go to this bar, this crazy bar in Mexico called the Titty Twister. And they're in there. They get into a little bit of a beef, whatever. And then they sit down. They're having drinks. And everybody's cool. But then Salma Hayek comes out and does this dance because it's basically a strip club / bar. And she comes out and does this dance with a snake. And to this day, it is the sexiest thing I've ever seen caught on film, hands down. I don't care what anybody says. To this day, nothing beats the Salma Hayek snake dance. Nothing. Anyway, she does the dance, and they're all kind of like mesmerized by her because she's so beautiful and it's so sexy and whatever. And then when the dance is over, the guys that they had got into it with at the beginning, when they first got into the bar, they come back and they're like, yeah, these are the guys or whatever. They start getting into it. They pull out their guns. Boom, boom. They're shooting them. They kill these guys, whatever. But Quentin Tarantino's character gets stabbed in the hand, which I failed to mention. In the shootout in the beginning, he gets shot in the hand. So it's the same hand. It's wrapped up bleeding. Then he gets stabbed in the same hand. It's bleeding more. And while they're with their guns telling everybody to chill out, after the initial shootout, you see his hand is dripping blood, and Salma Hayek is like looking at it like staring at the blood, and whoop, she turns into a vampire out of nowhere. That's where the switch happens. It's like completely out of left field. She turns into a vampire, jumps on Tarantino, bites him, and then all of the people in the bar, except a few humans in there who they trap to feed on, and that's their thing. They get bikers and truckers and whoever comes into the bar to get relaxed, and then they lock the place down and feed. That's what they've been doing for all this time. So then it's on. It's the family, Tarantino and his brother, and a couple of the bar patrons who are human. And they just go to war. It's a big fighting. They're fighting these vampires. They don't know what the hell's going on. Finally, they kind of chill it out, and they get down everybody that they need to get down. They start talking about it. There's some really, really funny parts in this. Of course, you get great Tarantino dialogue. And, like I said, there's comedy, there's action. And then they're trying to, okay, these are vampires. What do we got to do? We got to deal with this. And then they hear this noise outside, and they're like, what is that, birds? No, it's bats. They're all coming in, and they're trying to keep them locked out. But eventually they get in, and one by one, they start getting bitten. And they have to not only deal with all the other vampires that have been there the whole time, but now some of the people they were fighting with who survived, who are good fighters, now they're vampires. And they got to deal with them. And then the father turns, and the kids got to kill the father. You got to make decisions. Clooney had to kill his Tarantino because his brother changed into a vampire. What are you going to do? And so there's a bunch of action of them fighting the vampires. And then they're in this back room. And the whole place is covered with vampires. It's just they're stuck back there. They got to make a decision. And they say, you know what? If we're going to go out, we're going to go out. They come out, And they made all these weapons from stuff, because in the back room is all the stuff that they've stolen over the years from truckers and bikers and everything. So they got water guns back there. The preacher blesses the water to turn it into a weapon, make it holy water. You know, there's a bow and arrow. I mean, a crossbow set. They're shooting with that. You know, they carve crosses on the bullets. You know, George Clooney's got this big it's almost like a leaf blower thing that he carves a piece of wood to make a stake, and they could, you know, stab the vampires. They could make all these crazy weapons, and they have a big standoff at the end, and they're fighting them all, and they're doing good, but then it's just Clooney and Juliette Lewis are the only ones that are left, and now they're closing in on them, and they're, you know, trying to keep them out. And what happens is they miss a shot, it goes through the wall, and sunlight comes in, because now it's the morning. It's from dusk till dawn. So now it's dawn, and, you know, sunlight kills vampires. So the light comes through, it hits one of the vampires, and they start burning. So they're like, okay, stop shooting the vampires, start shooting holes in the walls. So they're shooting holes in the walls, so the light is coming through, and they're standing right in the middle of the light, so they can't get some, but they're gonna get them eventually. Then they hear a knock at the door, and it's the guy that they were supposed to meet up with, who is it's actually from Cheech and Chong. It's Cheech Marin. He plays a couple of characters in the movie. But he's like, hey, I'm looking for my friend Seth. That's Clooney's character. And they're like, break down the door, break down the door. So his goons break down the door, and all the lights come in, and it hits the strobe light, and that just shoots light everywhere, and they all explode, and they run out, and it's blood everywhere. One of the funniest things, one of the funniest lines in there is, you know, he throws down his gun. He's like, where the hell were you? He's like, what are you talking about? You said you wanted to meet at dawn, and we're here. And he punches him in the face. He was like, because of you, you know, that girl's whole family is dead. My brother is dead. And Cheech goes, what were they, psychos? And Clooney goes, psychos? Is that what they look like? Psychos? Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are. One of the funniest lines in the movie. But then, you know, basically he gives him the money, and he says, okay, you know, we're going to take off, and, you know, I'm not giving you what I promised because my brother's dead. So they work out a little deal if he's going to pay a little less and still be able to kind of ride off into the sunset and go to Mexico. Juliette Lewis wants to go with him, but she's still a kid. She's like 17. And he's like, you know, I might be a bastard, but I'm not a fucking bastard. And she takes the mobile home and takes off, and he goes off with them to Mexico, and basically, I guess, is gonna live out his gangster retirement. Really, really cool movie. Like I said, so unique with the genre switch. Great actors, great writing, of course, by Tarantino, great directing by Robert Rodriguez, and just such a cool take on the vampire thing mixed with the gangster thing, and great memorable characters, amazingly funny lines, and really cool action, and the vampires look cool. Altogether, 10 out of 10 from me for this movie. I love this flick. It's, like I said, one of my favorite from dusk till dawn. On the rewatchability scale, this gets a 90. This is, you know, like I said, it came out in 96. It's been a cult classic, but to me, it's just a general classic ever since. I could watch it. I've seen it 1,000 times. I love this movie. So it gets a 90 on the rewatchability scale. Hope you enjoyed that. Check out Dusk Till Dawn if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it in a while, check it out again. In most of my videos, I'm wearing cool shirts designed by my partner in Futuristic Vintage, Dave. Shout out, Dave. If you want to go and purchase this shirt or any other shirts that I wear, really cool designs, a lot of pop culture stuff, movie related a lot of times, and there's some sort of deal on there that you get from coming from my channel. That's not my end of things, but the website to go to is futuristicvintage.net. That's futuristicvintage.net, and you can buy all kinds of different shirts, different designs, colors, anything you want on there. Really, really cool selection. I have a bunch of them, and I wear them in the videos. So check that out. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more of what movies are in my collection, what made what top 5 lists, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so when I make new videos, you get alerted. Share it with your other movie nut friends. Give it a like. And with that being said, this is Mr. Movie signing off, and I will see you again next time at the Flicks.